Well, today's scrapbook soup is all about ingredients.
Like alcohol inks, oil pastels, freezer paper, and specialty paper. They're all a part of our scrapbook soup.
Today's scrapbook soup has been brought to you in part by Michael's Stores Incorporated, where creativity happens. Michaels.com, Sakura Color Products of America, SakuraofAmerica.com.
Hi, I'm here with Kathy Kromer from Michaels, and she's got a fantastic project combining alcohol inks and candles. So let's take a peek at those candles, Kathy. Tell me about them.
Well, we just drip the candle, roll the candle into the alcohol ink and it adheres. And then once the alcohol has dried, there is no more alcohol in it. It's just color that's left.
That's fabulous. They're beautiful. And I can't believe that they're easy. They look so fancy.
They're very easy. You just take a little bit of ink, squeeze it onto your palette paper.
And palette paper is just a shiny paper.
It's wax, like wax paper.
Could you use wax paper?
You could use wax paper.
Excellent.
You sure could. And you're just going to roll your candle in here and just kind of get a little coating on it.
And I see you're wearing gloves to protect your hands.
It will stain your hands and you will look like a mechanic for weeks. So just put it like that. And then I'll take a little bit here and drip on the top.
Cool.
And we're going to...
And what is that you're using?
It's just a little piece of cotton, and we're going to just dab this on to get a coverage instead of dripping.
Okay, I see that. Very cool.
Okay.
And I can already see where the alcohol is dripping into itself. It's sort of getting that two-tone effect.
It is, and when you add the other colors is when it's magic.
That's so cool. How do you decide what colors to mix?
Well, this actually, these three come in a particular package together, and that's how I did these. I made myself stick with the colors.
Well, that makes it easy.
It does. And
this is looking kind of Christmassy, right?
It does. And then when you just going to drip around, you want to do this in a well-ventilated area.
Okay. And keep it moving and having some fun. Now, you could do this with kids, right?
No, you may not do this
with
kids. This is not a product that would be approved for children at all.
Okay. Good to know.
Let's add a little bit more of this eggplant, and then I'll show you what happens if we spritz.
Fantastic.
And you can, if you don't like a section, you just wet it with this blending solution.
So you can remove parts that you don't like. Well, that makes it really foolproof and easy.
Right.
Oh, I love that layered look of all the colors.
All right, now we're going to just spray this.
So you're spraying that with...
It's an alcohol blending solution.
Excellent. And I know you mentioned this already, but what happens when this dries is the alcohol disappears, right? And you're just left with the color.
Yes.
Fantastic. And what is spraying it with the blending solution doing? I can sort of see.
It's kind of like watercolor. You know, when you put salt on watercolor and it separates?
Yes.
It's kind of just like that. It just kind of separates the, like right here, it's very heavy in that eggplant.
Okay. How long does it take to dry?
Oh, got myself there. About 24 hours.
Okay, 24
It'll be a little
hours?
sticky.
Great. And is there any rhyme or reason to how you're spraying it? Is there anything you're looking for in particular in terms of places to spray?
I'm the kind of person that doesn't really matter. I'm not a real precision person, so it doesn't matter to me. It's just however it turns out. Other people might want to be more little controlled with it, but
so basically you're just covering the whole surface here.
Right.
Okay.
And just letting it drip down to when you're happy. So I poured a little more green on the top of that, and I think I'm happy with that color.
I think it's absolutely stunning.
So what I would do is put it over on a paper plate and let it dry overnight. It's mainly going to be a little tacky right under here.
Okay, and is there any problem lighting this since it's alcohol?
No, as soon as the ink is dry, then there's no more alcohol. It's just pigment left on the
That's fantastic. What else can you use alcohol inks on?
Just about anything. That'll go over wood or plaster, plastic. And over here we put some on some metal and made a little wind chime. So it sticks really nicely on almost any subject.
Is that silverware just hanging from the wind chime?
Yes, it is.
Wow, what a fantastic series of projects, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back.
Well, we love new techniques. And Julie, you have a new technique to show us today. What are we going to do?
We're going to do something super fun, and we're working on pastel board, which is actually just it's a piece of board that has clay, so it really has a lot of gription, for lack of a better word. And I am just using an oil pastel, and oil pastels are great. You just bright, intense colors. You can just grind them on in. You can smooth them with your fingers and really feel like you're making some art.
Making a mess.
Exactly. So I'm just having fun, and I can get scratchy in there, and I can mix up the colors so I get a little bit of green, and I can rub it in. And really,
they really do blend well.
They really do blend nicely, and it comes in so many different colors. And the thing is, you just want to make sure that you're covering up as much of that white as possible. That's our goal. And you don't have to worry about what colors go. Virtually any color you grab goes. And you don't have to just do a circle. You can do around
just
the
do
circle and scribble it, you know.
Yeah, this is great for kids to do too. It's not just for adults.
This is so great for kids to do, and you just have fun playing around with it. And you can, again, as I said, mix those colors, have a good time, use your fingers, really get in there.
You know, we always have a good time when there's no rules, right?
It's true. It's true. And once you have colored it all in, you'll probably have something that looks something like this or your own take on it. And then we're going to do something very scary. We're going to take a black oil pastel, and you're just going to color over the whole thing. Cover it entirely, and you may want to turn it so you get really good coverage going over that whole pretty drawing that you just did.
You just have to make it really solid,
right?
right?
Really want to cover it, cover it, cover it, cover it. Put your muscle into it. Get that oil pastel going.
Now, did this have to dry or anything like that?
No,
or?
and in fact, oil pastels never dry. So if you had to go take a phone call, or if you went away for 100 years, you could come back and it would still be ready to go.
And you can still work on it.
Exactly.
I like the 100-year part.
I do too. So here you can see that I have one that's completely and totally covered with the black. And I have a stencil here, and you could use any stencil you like. This one is a tree, as you can see. And then I'm going to use a very exciting tool. You know what this is, don't you?
A skewer.
Bamboo skewer, yes. Use it for making all sorts of stuff. And what I'm going to do is everywhere that there's a hole, I'm using the bamboo skewer, and I'm just going to scratch away. And I don't worry about it being perfect. Imperfection is a wonderful thing. We are drawn to wonderfully lopsided things. So I just scratch around, having fun. This is a great mindless thing. I have to tell you the truth. My mother and I talk about 18 times a day on the phone. And one of the things I do when we're on the phone is I do stuff like this.
You doodle?
I do a lot of doodly, crafty things because, you know, it's a good time. I'm chatting with her. I don't have to think about it. And, you know, I think it's a fun and easy way. I have a friend.
Now you're scratching the black away. I get that.
I am.
Well, how come the yellow's not disappearing too and you're not seeing that pastel board appear underneath?
Well,
is it because it's blending into the board? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that is part of the magic of it, I have to say. I'm sure there is a wonderful scientific explanation of why it works, but I always just think it's because the gription. I think that if you do scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch, you may eventually get there, but really that layer of color clings pretty nicely onto the board.
Black is probably not going to blend into that color quite as much as the colors blended into the pastel board.
It's sitting more on the
top. Either way, it works, and it's a cool technique.
It's fantastic. So you can see I'm just scratching and scratching, and all the different colors get revealed. Would you like to see what it looks like when you scratch everything away?
Well, you know, I'll tell you what I'm really fascinated about, though, is because you've got all those different colors underneath, and there's really no rhyme or reason to how you put the colors down. And so if you left it, you know, a couple of days or an hour. I mean, it's a big surprise every time you scratch that black away.
It is. Big, big surprise. So here you go. This is what it looks like. Let me turn it around there.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Ta-da! Now, this is still, it's unsealed. So if I were to scratch any of this black, I've now, So how do you deal with this? Just take cheap hairspray and spray it, and that's actually going to act as a fixative, and that will hold it for a while. It won't hold it 100%. And then what I did is I just cut out some little letters from paper, just used some sharp scissors, and I outlined them with a black pen. And then I simply take them and put them right on top here, and then I just used a matte gel medium to put them down. and then to use that over the whole thing to seal it.
As a sealer, yeah.
And then this is what you end up with this very cool piece of art.
It's really, really cool. It's kind of like the scratch art, but it's a little bit more artsy.
Well, and you know, a stencil is a great thing because it gives you a safe design to play in, so you're not so worried. This is a tag that I made. You can see with this using the star stencil, but you can see it looks a little different. And the reason for that is instead of using black over it, I actually used a blue, and it went very transparent. And so you can do that and get a very different look right here.
Have you ever done white?
You know, I've never even tried white. I wonder what it would look like.
We'll have to try that.
We'll try that later. I like craft investigations.
Yes.
And here's a scrapbook layout, and I wanted to show how this tag that's on the layout uses a big scratch art flower, which I think is really kind of cool.
I love the center too, that little bit of bling.
A little bit of bling,
we
something
love
special.
Our bling.
We do, we're girls. And then here is a piece that is just larger. It's on a 12 by 12 pastel board. And again, the pastel board on that was actually gray, and the color underneath doesn't matter because it doesn't show at all.
Because whatever color you put on top is what shows.
And then finally, I have this little painting or drawing of a girl that I did, and I did actually scratch into her face some of the detail lines to show some of that zigzag that's underneath.
It adds the texture too. So this is really fun, but I think we need to go try the white. We'll be right back. You know, paper is such a versatile medium, and Nancy Hill joins us from Die Cuts with a View, and you have some amazingly beautiful things that you've made for the home, and they're all out of paper, and we've been admiring this dress throughout this series, Nancy. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Isn't it fun? I just have had a love affair with paper for 25 years, and I thought it was time we started to show all the different things you could do with it.
Well, this is amazing. And even the necklace at the top, that's also
Isn't
made out
it
of
gorgeous?
paper. It's
you know, and it's part of that. Use it up, make it do. Don't waste anything.
Right.
So it feels good to make something out of paper that can be beautiful, and this, we're not suggesting everyone do this, but it does show all the techniques that can be done.
Right, but just the elements on the dress, the roses, the flowers, the little sprays that you have there. And this is with paper that we probably already have.
It's all from one grouping of pages too. And I'd love to show you how this is just one stack of paper and all the different varieties. And we would make the rosettes and cut pieces out. So if the paper were like this, what we did is I cut out where's the little bird?
The little bird.
Yes, and you can see the designs on the paper, and then we took the other page and went down. And that actually is the base to this.
Behind the flower.
And then some of the other papers in the collection matched to do the rose, some of these pages. And so you could see we could have just as easily done this out of the butterfly.
Yeah, well, look at those beautiful butterflies too. But I like this spray, Nancy.
Isn't that fun? Let me show you what we did. These flowers were already printed on there, but you could make them yourself. And you know how moldable this is when you do it. But these were cut out from the stack, and we just took the back
and
glued them on.
onto wire. You know, I'm feeling this paper, and it's a very nice weight for paper. Basically, we're paper sculpting, and this is such a wonderful weight for doing that, so it's not going to tear. You know what? That would make a great headpiece.
I know. Maybe
it would look beautiful, darling.
Maybe to the wedding, the royal wedding.
We should.
Yes,
we should go.
Let me show you some of these other things, and you.
Well, let's look at this dress down here, Nancy. I just love that. It's very, very 70s, and again, all the papers coordinate. There's paper, all the colors work together, and you've added glitter to that, right?
Well, it had a little bit of glitter, and then we went over it to just make it pop. Isn't that fun?
Now, what did you use for the form underneath it?
The form, that's just a little paper mache form. They're very inexpensive that you get at your local craft store. On the other one, the black one, that's the cream, that we've, I can see that as a jewelry hanger. I love the elegance of this.
Well, I can see that as a centerpiece for a very, very special, like a black tie affair. And I love the flocking on that paper because that really brings out that it could be kind of like fabric, and you've added lace to that and the tulle around the bottom. That's just gorgeous.
And it's just right from a paper stack. We didn't add too much. We've got a little toile there, but all the colors blend, so it's pretty easy to pull it together.
It's beautiful. And the paper mache form is probably just painted with acrylic paint, or even cover it with decoupage, little pieces of paper that we have left over.
Very inexpensive to start.
And I love the
to
little
get
necklaces around the top.
Yes.
That is gorgeous. Now, this, I have to say, this is just wonderful. All the colors, the black and the foil. And what we did on this one.
Yes, I loved this at Christmas time. We were making these out of this and made a wreath that went up the staircase with these hanging.
Oh, here, let me hold this upright
You
for
can
you.
see
You can
when
show.
those are all bunched together and this was hanging, how beautiful that was. And it's very simple. Julie, we just take this and cut it out. We had a form. I'm not sure if we used electronic machine or not, or if we just cut them by hand.
Or we can just make a pattern.
And then this is one of them. And maybe you could show us how you fold that.
Oh, okay. I think you told me we could roll it around a paintbrush handle. Let me just lay that down, Nancy.
Sometimes
And
they
this-
wet it a little bit, but on these, the paper's strong enough that it just rolls.
Well, I'm just going to crease it just a little bit in the center. And I know that our viewers are going to want to know all the instructions and see all the designs, and they'll be available on the website. So I'm just rolling this around the paintbrush handle.
Great job.
Like that, and then we'll turn it around and do the other side. This is really so easy, and like I said earlier, this is a really nice weight of paper to do this with, because I don't think you could do it with every kind of paper.
Well, it holds up well too.
Yeah, it
when
does. And if you did
It's-
want to do some sculpting, you'd wet it with a little bit of water in the paintbrush, and then you could even do more embellishments.
It's a lot more forgiving when it has a little print to it.
Yes, it
See, a
is.
little bit, you have to be a little bit more exact with these, but the prints are very easy. And of course, we had to mail this, so it got a little bump there.
Right. Now, in this flower right here, you've got ribbon in here, and you've got some colored beads in the center. And you know what? You know, a lot of times we go to the fabric store because we want to make home deck projects or something, and we'll buy fabric, but you know, we can consider doing it with paper.
Oh.
Obviously not everything, but
I love it,
lot
and
of
I
the
love to
things.
mix it with the fabric and with the jewels and anything that you seem to happen around. The one thing I like about this is really the endless possibilities with a piece of printed paper or just a piece of plain cardstock.
We're only
Limited.
We're only limited by our imagination and your love affair with paper right now.
I do
You know
love
what?
it.
We want you to come back next series and bring some orange and pink paper with you, and we'll make a garland for our set.
I shall do that. We might even design you your own little dress.
Oh, Nancy, thank
That
you.
would
That
be
would
my
be adorable.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Are you wondering what all these security envelopes are doing all over our table? Julie is going to tell us.
Well, I love to use things that I find around the house for all my crafting and art fun, you know?
Yeah, it's something that everybody has.
And you know what? This is something that will make bill paying lots of fun because plenty of those bills come in security envelopes.
That's true.
Right?
I don't know this be fun.
And they're just regular old envelopes. They usually have a window, and inside they have some sort of pattern of lines. And people actually collect these. There are all kinds of them. And the first project that I've made with these security envelopes is this really cool, I call it a raindrop banner. You could also call it a teardrop banner, something like that. It's just stitched together all sorts of shades of blue of security envelopes. And of course, you can see there are lots of shades of blue, plenty of shades of gray. I even have a green security envelope. Red is like, if you can find a red security envelope, you're doing really well. I've been on the hunt for a long time,
Is that
actually.
good?
Haven't found one yet, but I've seen them on the internet, so I know they exist. And of course, you can use security envelopes anywhere you can use patterned paper.
Right, I was just going to say, all the different patterns here. They're just
exactly.
gorgeous.
I love the wood grain actually
Yeah,
myself. I think that's really cool. So I've actually made two little cards using security envelopes basically as patterned paper. The little heart and then the butterflies. And you will notice that the butterflies are surrounded by tons and tons more butterflies and some cute little flowers. And these are embellishments that you make from security envelopes. And I'm a great believer favor, you know, in having your chicken stock prepared, so to speak.
Yes.
And this is our crafting stock, so you have your little embellishments made ahead of time. So this is a great thing to do. So let's make some. What do you say?
All right, let's get started.
Okay, so I'm going to hand you a security envelope.
Am I doing flowers or butterflies?
We're going to do flowers. So I'm going to hand you a
Yes, I
punch.
like flowers.
Easy way to do it. And I'm going to punch some too. And I like to turn my punch over so that I can see where I'm punching.
Upside down punching.
Yep. And I'm just going to, ooh, they go flying. And I'm just going
Well,
to
you've got the
put my
butterflies.
hand
They're
over
gonna
it.
fly.
And I'm going to just punch out a whole bunch of these. No problem. And you know, you can get punches in lots of different shapes and sizes. So once you have finished punching out a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to make you, you're going to be my little sweatshop. You're going to keep punching away
Okay,
there.
I was going to say, I like this part.
So I just have some adhesive dots, and I'm going to separate them carefully so that all the dots stay on one side. And then this is what I'm going to start to build my embellishments on. So I simply place one of the flowers onto the dot. Now I have a self-adhesive flower very easily, and I'm just going to continue along.
I've got a stencil now. How about that?
You have a beautiful stencil. And what I'm going to do then is I'm simply going to curl up the leaves. I guess these aren't leaves, these are petals.
Petals,
I'm going to
yes.
curl up the petals with my fingers just by pinching them around. Pinch, 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 just because I like a little bit of dimension. So I just crunch them, crunch them, crunch them. And I can take some of the ones you're doing in a different pattern.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, you could curl up the petals with like the little quilling tool.
Yeah.
Or even the
bobby
big eye or
pin.
on a darning needle.
Yeah, anything will work.
Yep.
And you can certainly layer these with foam adhesive or anything like that. You can use glitter at the center, whatever you would like. So I'm just going to keep going around.
Okay, I'm making confetti for your
You
party,
are
right?
making confetti. And once I have curled these up to my heart's desire and I'm happy with how they look, you can take rhinestones of any kind. You can also use glitter or anything you'd like. And now I'm just going to decorate the centers. Here we go. Exactly.
You know
And-
how I make glitter dots? I use like the little adhesive dots and put it down on paper and then sprinkle glitter on top and press the glitter
that's
in
so smart.
and shake off the excess, and then you have this sheet of glitter dots.
I really love
Very
it when
cool.
you can make embellishments instead of,
I
you know,
know.
buying them. It's lots of fun. So these are, I have pearls and rhinestones, and they're in different color variations, and I feel like these are kind of turning into maybe Halloween-y flowers. Wouldn't these be cool on a Halloween card?
Those are really pretty. But you know what? You told me earlier you were going to make a book out of one piece of paper. You need to show us how to do that.
Okay, I'm going to give you these. You can keep
Okay.
playing and making some little embellishments.
Thank you.
And now I am going to bring this over. I have made this fantastic little book out of a single sheet of paper, and it just opens up. I have a ribbon wrapped around here, and you can see that inside, right, we've got several little pages of this cute little book.
Oh, how sweet.
Just a single sheet of paper. So let me show you how that's
Okay.
done. Okay, so I am going to score, I just have a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and I'm going to score it every 3 inches. So I simply push it up against the back, and I'm going to score down. Oops, I ripped the paper a little, I have to admit, over enthusiastic, but it's fine. And then I'm going to do it at the next mark. 3 inches again. Exactly. And now you can use a bone folder to score. You can honestly use the edge of the table to kind of score
or you can use
it.
like what we call a dead ballpoint pen and put it
Oh,
on
yeah.
like a foam mat.
That's a good one too. There are lots of different
Right.
choices.
Yeah, and of course the trimmers. I mean, they have
Oh yeah,
scoring
blades.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Lots of different options.
And then I'm going to turn this 90 degrees, and I'm going to score it right at 6 inches, right in the middle. Okay, so now I have all the marks that I need.
Okay.
Now we're gonna do, this is a messy sort of scrapper versus maybe a neater one, which is you could absolutely take an X-Acto knife and you wanna cut from between my 2 fingers, from here to here. But I am gonna use the brutal method.
You're going to stab it.
I'm gonna
with
stab it,
scissors.
I'm gonna stab it. So I just like to stab in the center, punch it through, and I cut to the one side. So I see how I've cut that one
And
section.
of course you're using the precision scissors.
I am, and I'm going the other way now. And now we begin our folding, now that we have our
Okay.
cut. So I'm gonna fold along that center score line, and I'm gonna fold along that next score line. And scoring just makes it so your paper doesn't crack and it's easy to fold.
Well, you get a nice fold then.
You do. You get a very nice fold. Okay. So now I folded it in half. Everything is scored. And you know, if you want to fold it both ways, you can. This is totally up to you. Okay, so now are you ready for the magic moment when this
ready for
becomes
the
a book?
magic moment.
Do you have any idea how this become a book? It's crazy. We fold it up.
Uh-huh.
We pull from the place that we cut in the center. Oop. Okay, so now I have this kind of cool star shape almost.
Uh-huh.
Squish it.
Uh-huh.
Ta-da!
And you are
And
done.
that is
That is very clever.
a book.
Okay, that's
Easy
very
enough.
cool.
Mini album.
Now, you've made another book here. You have to show us how to do this.
Okay. So hand me those file folders. Thank you very much. And
Okay.
a paper trimmer. Now, file folders make for a fantastic book, and it could not be easier to do. All I'm going to do is I'm simply going to cut these file folders in half, but I'm not going to measure.
Okay.
Because I don't like to measure. I'm simply, and that's not really half, though. I can eyeball it and I can
And you're
see.
utilizing the tab that's already on the
I
file
am.
folders. And you're going to put those together to make the
Yeah,
book.
so then
And
I would
let's-
just nest it inside
Let's
here.
just look at this book
Okay.
that you have over here.
Cool.
This is very, very cool.
Yeah, that's a book that I just made about New York City.
That's very cool, Julie. You know, you can make these books about anything, and you're going to make lots of them. And you know what? Please let us know any ingredients that you'd like to see added to our show by visiting our website. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Scrapbook Soup.
Visit scrapbooksouptv.com for a mix of ideas, a mix of ingredients, a mix of designers, and all of the instructions for every project found on this series of Scrapbook Soup. Create your own recipe for great scrapbooking. This is show 111. A complete set of all 13 episodes of Scrapbook Soup Series 100 is available for $39.99 plus shipping and handling. A mix of designers, techniques, and projects, all in one complete package to watch anytime. Visit scrapbooksouptv.com to place your order. Today's Scrapbook Soup has been brought to you in part by Michael's Stores Incorporated, where creativity happens. Michaels.com. Sakura Color Products of America. SakuraofAmerica.com.